Now I'm going to talk about finger picking. Up until now, mostly we've been playing with a pick. We talked a little bit about using the thumb. But when I talk about finger picking, I'm really talking about using thumb and fingers together. I think it's really important for young guitarists to learn both techniques, playing with a pick and playing fingerstyle. I find that things that come really naturally and easily to finger picking, like that's really pretty easy with fingers. That would be really hard with a pick. You'd be moving so fast to do that with a pick. And then other things that come really naturally with a pick, like especially linear melodies and things like that, I find those, well, again, much easier with a pick than fingerstyle. It seems to take more training to do that with fingers. So, to use your thumb and fingers, start out just like with a pick. We're going to rest our elbows. Perfect. And what I like to do, Carly, perfect. Actually, go back to where you were, just hanging down. We just hang the hand down. Kind of like we talked about pick with a strum where you let gravity do the work. So right now the hand is hanging. Then all you do is very relaxed, turn your wrist. Right, you turn it so that the fingers, you turn them into the strings. And it would be a good idea to turn them so that your fingers come to rest, the three fingers come to rest on the top three strings, one under each, and the thumb comes to rest on the bottom. Bill, your thumb is way out. There you go, buddy. Thanks. So, and this is the most common thing for finger picking, is that your thumb plays bass notes, low notes. Your fingers play the top strings, sometimes the middle three, sometimes the top three. So place your fingers, as we talked about. For a really good hand position, hopefully you can see this. My wrist is turned away from the guitar. Good. Not like this. Don't collapse it. So the wrist turns away from the guitar a little bit. That gives a nice arch. It helps to keep your hand relaxed when you do that. And my thumb is always slightly in front of my index finger. I've found a lot of people, if they get off to a bad start with finger picking, very often they're more like this and their thumb is behind their fingers. Again, it creates a lot of tension. So it really is nice if you can get that thumb, slide it out, slide the fingers back. And if you find yourself having trouble with the position, shake it out, rest your arm there, hang it down and turn it back in and plant those fingers. That's a term you'll hear a lot, is planting. We plant the fingers on the strings before we play. And that's just preparing. So the first thing we're going to play is an E minor chord. And I'm going to hold the full E minor. And to tell you the truth, the notes I'm fingering are on the 5th and 4th strings, and none of my fingers are on those strings, but that's okay. We're actually going to pluck only the open strings, but it's good to hold the whole chord. Always hold the full chord when you're finger picking. One reason is if you accidentally make a mistake and hit the wrong string, that note is in the chord and it'll still sound pretty good. So what we're going to do, and we'll all do this together, we're just going to pluck the E minor chord. And by that I mean all notes played at the same time. And when I did that, hopefully you can see my fingers in a very relaxed way. All I do is I curl my hand and aim my fingers towards the palm. It all comes from this knuckle joint right here. The fingers just stay in this really relaxed curvature, and then they just head towards the palm. And my thumb swept outward away from the guitar a little bit. So it's almost like closing your hand into a fist, right? And I don't work my fingers at all. It's all coming from here. Fingers are totally relaxed. If you hold your hand in a totally relaxed way, your fingers form a natural curve, and that's where they'll stay. So let's play that chord together and just close your hand. Go ahead. Okay, Carly, you do that again. And what I'm going to ask you to do, right now Carly is playing from this knuckle. Mm-hmm. So by playing from that knuckle, what you're doing is this. It's kind of a clutching motion. And what I'm going to try to get you to do, and it's going to take a while because you're probably used to doing this, but I'm going to try to get you to do this instead, where your whole hand, your fingertips just aim towards your palm and, right, try that. Yep, much more, that's exactly right. Go ahead. And you might, maybe to practice it, keep your thumb like as a bass. Don't move it, and only do your fingers. Yeah. Good. So eventually you want that movement all from here. It's very relaxed. And that one nice smooth sound. Let's see, when you guys play example 22, you'll be playing just quarter notes on an E minor chord like we're doing now. When you move on to 23, though, we'll be separating the thumb from the fingers. So what that is like, we're still playing quarter notes, but now I'm going to play thumb, then fingers like this. 3, 4. Now we're going to go to eighth notes. Same exact pattern, but twice as fast. Or I'll count to 4, and we'll all play together. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. So that's the whole key with the finger picking, is keeping it relaxed. One more pattern I'm going to show before we move on. Instead of plucking the chord, we're going to play every string separate. This is an eighth note pattern. It's probably the most basic, but also the most common finger picking pattern. And the beautiful thing about this pattern is once you learn it, you can apply it to any chord. And the pattern itself never changes, only the chords change. So the pattern is just thumb, index, middle, ring finger in sequence. It's going to be real steady though. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We'll try that together.
Yes, and Aaron, in your book you'll see P-I-M-A, or Pima, and that's from Spanish or...
P is pulgar, if I'm saying that correctly, and that's thumb.
Yeah. Index indicio.
Indicio.
Yeah.
Luckily, these are similar.
Yeah.
So M is middle, but in Spanish, I'm not sure.
So I think...
and it's Spanish.
Annular, yeah. Annular is the A finger.
Annular is the A finger or the ring finger. Right. It's kind of just standard practice to use the Spanish notation. So it's P-I-M-A. So that's the first pattern we're going to play. And the important thing about finger picking is this might be hard at first, but once you know this pattern, now the pattern never changes, and what you'll do is apply it to the chords of a song. So all that music is coming out of this hand in a way. This hand is just, it's just that one pattern. You get these patterns down and then just change the chords underneath them. And that's how we accompany, that's how guitarists learn to accompany a singer or someone else. They have certain rhythmic patterns, like that one. And then we learn the chords. And then we know a certain song, that we can do that. Okay? So try out all these, stay relaxed, and have fun with it.